Thingy Canberra. Oh,
Greetings and welcome to Mount Olympus. I am Hercules Invictus, and tonight we're aboard the Pride of Olympus discussing Star Trek. We have with us Thomas Punton, also known as Zimbaka Rafikan. Greetings, Thomas.
Greetings and welcome.
And we have the Chandlers, Tina and Brian. Greetings, Chandlers.
hello.
And we have Pamela Joy Fernsler, the Silver Fox. Greetings, Pamela.
Hi there.
We're waiting for Bob Vosseller. He will be welcomed as soon as he arrives. Today, what I wanted to focus on was the new show, Star Trek, Starfleet Academy. I have not seen any of the episodes because I don't have Paramount Plus. And Thomas told me that they broadcast it on Pluto TV, but they may not still have it there. I will look, but I wasn't aware of that until now, so I didn't see it. I've seen mostly reviews and reactions, and most of them have been negative,
Oh,
and a few of them have been positive. So I wanted to speak to people I respect the most in matters Star Trek to see what you had to share about it. Who has seen the episodes?
I've seen all of them.
Okay,
I've seen a
great.
couple.
Yeah, I
Okay.
just saw the pilot.
And Thomas, you just saw the pilot. Okay. So let's start with the pilot then. Since Thomas was here much earlier than everybody else, we'll start with Thomas. What can you tell us about the pilot and what are your reactions to it?
I mean, for me, at first I wasn't so sure what was the make of it because it went off this completely different angle of all these people that was not related to it, but it was building up to the situation of getting to Starfleet Academy. I mean, and there was talk and all that, and I mean, I'm trying to keep the level face of this, and just the fact that I haven't seen the rest of it. Because if history's shown us with Star Trek is the fact you don't judge the book by its cover when it first started.
Right.
I mean, especially when Next Generation came out, everyone was hating on it, and they did well. But I think it shows promise and all that. I like the Klingon too. He looks interesting. Sounds interesting, by the way.
I believe that Star Trek needs to be given some time. And I remember when the Next Generation came out, fans' reaction to it and Trekkies' reaction to it. And I also remember Prodigy, which was a little closer to the present. I didn't particularly care for Prodigy in the beginning of it, and I started getting into it when they had Janeway and the whole Chakotay situation coming. Then I started getting more invested in it, and by the time the first season had ended, I wanted to see the second season. And then, unfortunately, I haven't seen any Trek since then. So I've heard that there were more seasons, but I didn't watch them. Brian, how about you? What was your impression of the pilot?
It has possibilities. I have a few issues with it, most of which are from canon,
Okay.
but there's a lot of possibility. You have to watch it with the mindset of it's the pilot, it's the first season, they're still finding their feet. So it's been decent so far. So there's been a bunch. I've seen 3 standout episodes. The rest of them are so-so, but again, it's first season, so don't expect much.
Okay, so again, you're echoing what Thomas had said and what I'd said that basically you got to give it some time to find its voice.
Yeah, you got to give it time for some character development.
Okay,
So
great.
it's basically like Next Gen was. It's like DS9 was. It's like Voyager was. You watched probably about the first half of the first season, and some of the episodes, when you were watching them then, came across as, oh my God, these are horrible. But then when you watch them in retrospect, after you've been a season or 2 into it, and you know the characters a little bit better, they kind of make more sense.
Okay, thank you very much. Tina, did you see the pilot?
Yes, I did.
And what were your thoughts and impressions of it?
I liked it. I did. Um, with the continuity captain over here, as I jokingly call Brian, there are a few things that could be tweaked a little bit, and it's like, okay, what happened in between? What's going on? I like the dialogue between the what did they call her again? The commissar with the
So,
Atlantean. She's like Chancellor. That's it, Chancellor.
Yeah, Chancellor.
I have a little bit of regarding that. Starfleet has always had a commandant of cadets. I understand there's 2 colleges, the War College and Starfleet Academy, but couldn't they have come up with a different name than Chancellor? I mean, she sounds like she's president of the Federation, and she's not. I mean that's just like a little tweak for me. I'm sorry. That's
You mean like they made like did they just call her like special kind of ranking or something like that?
I would say so. Yeah, I think a special ranking, almost the same verbiage as commandant, commander, or commandant of the academy, or headmistress. I don't know what you want to like to call, but
Maybe
I know that's a bit of a difficult sticking point with her. But especially, I find her character so cool, though. Her character has been absolutely cool.
Maybe they just thought that okay, there's been so many admirals over the course of Star Trek, we should just call her Admiral.
Yeah.
Well, if I might interject with a slight spoiler,
Okay.
She's only called Chancellor for official functions. The rest of the time, she goes by that other magic word, Captain.
Thank you for the spoiler and understood. Pamela, how about you? Did you see the pilot?
I didn't see the pilot, but I heard about trailers and things like that. The voice, I believe the voice of the computer is Stephen Colbert.
Oh,
Right.
wow.
And
wow.
they also, yeah, and he was talking about it on his late night show, and he was thrilled to be that. And I understand Holodoc is back. They must have been using AI for that. And I'd like to know how they did that, because Robert Picardo is kind of old at this point, and I think they had to use AI for the Holodoc.
He supposedly got an aging program, so he aged himself, gave himself some years to explain why he's a lot older as a hologram when he shouldn't age at all.
So that's what I've heard. I'd like to view it just for that, but of course I don't have streaming, so I don't get to see it.
And Bob has joined us. Greetings, Bob. How are you?
Hey, Bob.
Okay,
Hey, Bob.
sorry I'm late. I had some kind of bizarre technical problem, but I'm here.
Glad that it's solved. We started talking about Starfleet Academy, and we're talking about the pilot. Did you get to see the pilot?
Yes, I did.
What do you think of the pilot?
I enjoyed the first 2. You know, they downloaded 2 episodes. I enjoyed the first 2 episodes of it, and thought it was definitely something different, a new approach, taking a piece of the Star Trek universe. It was a different timeline that I'm used to. It's post Discovery, and it takes a little getting used to because there were a few episodes I missed pertaining to the burn. But really, it just presents Starfleet Academy in a different way than we had seen previously, with Wesley and other accounts and in DS9. But I have found it an intriguing show so far.
Okay, thank you very much. And we have some the foundation there, I guess, to start the conversation. You've seen a couple of shows, right? Bob?
Yes. In fact, I haven't completely caught up, but I'm up to. I watched episode 4 last night.
Okay.
So I was going strong for a while, and then we had a gap, of time. But I enjoy the characters, especially the captain, Chancellor, Holly Hunter, and it's very different than what we're used to. But every Star Trek is a bit different, and it's I still find it intriguing, even though it's different.
Thank you very much for that. Brian, you've seen all the episodes, right?
Yes.
Okay. Would anybody mind if we brought up spoilers?
Not at
Nope.
all.
Nope.
No? Okay, so can you give us an outline of the episode so far, Brian?
They are doing a lot of setup with it for the first probably 4 episodes. Then with episode 5, they start actually getting into the meat of the story. So this last episode they just had on that dropped yesterday is character development for the Klingon character Jake. He's had 2 episodes worth of character development so far. They're focusing more for a main character on the Caleb Mirror character, who, if you've watched the pilot episode, he's the kid that Ake more or less locked up his mother at the beginning of the episode. And he's grown up kind of on the run, in and out of trouble, and he's the lone wolf kind of thing. There's another character, her name is Genesis. She's a Starfleet Admiral's daughter, which I have a sneaking suspicion who her dad is going to turn out to be because they haven't said yet. But that's another theory. She's on the command track because she feels like she has to step into her dad's role and be the one in charge. There is his name escapes me. He's an alien that is basically almost like a crystal-looking guy when he drops his disguise, and they've gone into some development with him. They've got a holographic character. She's called Sam, which I like her, but I hate her at the same time. She's very smart.
Seems to be universal.
Very outgoing, but she's got that Wesley Crusher vibe so bad you can't see straight. So, kind of the know-it-all thing, but she doesn't know how to handle it. She's only, I think they said, 4 months old at this point, but she's programmed like a 17-year-old kid. So, they've worked with that. They brought in the doctor from Voyager, who's had an ancient program added to the thing to, in his words, make the solids and the humanoids a little more adaptable to him and more relatable to him. The one standout character I like in terms of the staff is Commander Thok. She's the first officer. She's half Jim Hadar, half Klingon. And you want to talk attitude, that's your person right there. So, but so far, like I said, they've done a lot of character development the first few episodes. There was one a couple of weeks ago that the kids were on a training mission to a derelict ship called the Miyazaki, which was a very, very good episode. There were some things with that. I like how they've introduced the war college as like a competing school to be like the foils to the Starfleet Academy bunch. So they've had some rivalry going on there. And it's been decent so far. I've heard a lot of the reviews saying there's a lot of like 90210 and Dawson's Creek and the teenage drama vibe, which there is. But they've worked in a lot of the backstory with Trek. So, it's been good, I think. And there's a lot of room to improve, but there's been decent setup. So.
Okay, thank you very much. The puzzle pieces are starting to fill out the picture a little bit more. Tina, you said that you've seen a few episodes, right?
Yes.
Okay, can you fill in any more of the puzzle pieces and share your perspective with us?
Okay, but first I'd like to pull a joke on Bob and Brian. Admiral Wesley Crusher.
Yeah, well.
In Star Trek Online, the Mirror Universe, Wesley Crusher is Emperor Wesley Crusher.
Oh no, he saw that in the first episode and he's like, what? Oh my gosh. I like Doc. She's a great character. She's like, stab her, shoot her up, carve her up, bring it on, give it more. I mean, I really like her. In the second episode, she's more of trying to establish herself as the more like a quartermaster kind of character. Cadet master. Okay, cadet master. And she's a person that it's absolutely cool. She understands what the teens are, and she's trying to bring them out, and just the way she's doing it's just so appropriate. And I can't wait to see how her character develops with Jaden. And the second episode, all I gotta say is one word: beta set.
Because 2 words.
Yep, they're coming back. So yay!
Okay, thank you very much. Thomas, which episodes did you see, and can you share your opinion of the episodes and also your impressions based on other things that have come to your attention?
Well, I only just saw the pilots and all that, and that's like what was mentioned. In fact, what was the question? A few years back in Star Trek Online, they had this whole series of episodes with the mirror, Terran Empire, which we learned that Wesley Crusher is the Emperor.
Oh, wow.
Yeah, he's the Emperor. He brings his version of Beecher over to the mainline Star Trek, then you have to stop him and all that. I mean, I'll give this much, and I have this here. This is Star Trek Starfleet Academy for the Super Nintendo.
Oh my
So
god!
watching this will make me almost want to play this game again, because in this game, basically, you play as a cadet that joins Starfleet Academy, and you play all these different missions and all that, and eventually it ends up with you doing the Kobayashi Maru test, which, yeah, they make a difficult attack and you will not win it.
Oh, that is cool.
So what's interesting is that there's a trick to this where you can lock profiles of the original series actors, and you play as Kirk, and you get up to the Kobayashi Maru, you can actually hail the Klingons, and they'll lower their weapons, and you actually win the test because he cheated, of course. So yeah, that's so watching that pilot all just makes you want to play this game all over again. And you also can play the missions of Wrath of Khan and the final battle of Star Trek 6 and all that in this game too. So yeah, really cool.
Dig out my Super Nintendo. I have it somewhere. On the side, when my son was young, now he's in his 40s, but when he was a young kid, he shot Wesley Crusher at a convention with his Ghostbusters gun, I think. And Wesley Crusher took it really well, and he pretended he was shot, and he fell to the floor, and everybody started clapping, and I felt so bad for him. But I talked to him afterwards, and I was grateful that he made my son feel confused.
I wonder if we did like in first season, when he got stabbed in the back and went.
Yeah, and then he fell to the floor. That's my Wesley Crusher story. Okay, Pamela.
Yo.
How many of them, did you see any of them other than what you saw with reviews and things like that?
I have not, but listening to you guys, I'm kind of disappointed about the Academy, because I was hoping they'd show something between Captain Archer and Captain Kirk, how the Academy was in those days. And it's kind of disappointing that they're keeping it in the same century, damn it. And dressing them all in the same uniforms. I'm going, do I really want to watch this?
Well, actually, it's 900 years after the Picard era. It's even a little further on from the conclusion of Discovery, which of course is the 32nd or 30th century.
Something like that.
Yeah, so it's like way ahead, and there's it's kind of interesting in that there's so much time in between of things that have happened. I mean, we're seeing new developments of what occurred during, post burn, which was an event that happened on Discovery,
right?
Where the Federation and Starfleet Academy in particular is rebuilding itself. So we're seeing like a whole different side. Things are happening, developments of the Klingon Empire that we saw in the 4th episode. Beta Z had withdrawn, literally building a wall around itself. And that was a key plot point in, I believe, the 3rd episode or so. And it was very intriguing to see what they did, you know. So even our, you know, our allies aren't necessarily our allies anymore, and you know, it's literally a different universe than what we're used to, you know, even from Picard time, you know.
Okay, if it's a different universe, how come they're including Spock and Wesley
Well,
Crusher?
not literally. No, I don't mean literally a different universe, but so much has happened in between,
Yeah.
you know, I mean, since then that they're dealing with other, it's not the Starfleet and the Federation that we're used to. It's more of a reconstruction era, you know, like
It's
they're rebuilding, they're
it's greatly
starting
evolved.
over, and you know, thus bringing new ideas and new slants on things. So you know, that's what I think is kind of key into this whole series, is that not only are we seeing what we expected to kind of see, you know, in a way, a structure of 90210
Oh,
in
geez.
space, but not really, you know. But you're going to have young cadets, so you're going to have, you know, an emphasis on youth and learning and new experiences and growth. But you're also going to see, you know, experienced officers, and you know, we had a leftover from Discovery. We have, you know, Robert Picardo, the doctor, you know, in a new kind of role as an instructor, and you know, from Voyager. And this captain is unlike anyone we've ever had before, Captain slash Chancellor. She is an alien, and she's over 400 years old. And so she covers that era that we are familiar with because she lived through it. So there will be some, you know, references to that at that point. So I found her very interesting. And she's sort of like the space hippie. You know, she walks around without boots. And she curls up literally in her command chair. You wouldn't see Kirk or Cisco or Janeway or Archer or anybody doing that, but she can, because that's part of her culture, or part of her alien culture. So, you know, there's many stories yet to be told. You know, in last night's episode that I watched, the fourth episode, you know, you saw once again another glimpse of the female Sharon Charonian alien.
I just wish they wouldn't stream it, dang it.
Yeah, I'm gonna have to wait till either it shows somewhere else for some reason, or I just buy the physical discs and watch it in my leisure.
Well, like I told Herc, that like the one time I went up Paramount Plus is when I waited for like the full third season of Picard to come out, and then just get on there, so like just binge watch the whole season.
Yeah,
They're strategic to get Paramount at that time, or just break down and get Paramount.
how was Section 31? Because we're talking about the Kirshnerverse now. I didn't get to see the movie either. They had announced initially early on they were going to do another series, and they talked about another series, and then they made a movie instead, and the movie was not well received based
Well,
on the reviews that I saw. How was it to you guys?
I found it to be Star Trek meets Suicide Squad.
Ah,
You know, and basically that's what I expected when I heard the whole premise of the show, because basically you have Michelle Yeoh's Terran Empire character who is settled in, having done some spy work and settled in as a sort of a nightclub owner, and she gets enlisted in this special mission with a bunch of other roguish characters who are, you know, would normally be bad or don't give a damn, and they're put on a mission where they have to kind of save the universe, or at least save a chunk of the universe. And you know, it wasn't like any other Star Trek we've known. It was Section 31. I mean, what did we expect? It was supposed to be a series, but with
Oh,
Michelle Yeoh's uh, career skyrocketing and having so many options, from what I understand, Michelle Yeoh herself said she wanted it, she originally was interested in doing the series, but she at least wanted it to be a movie. But from what I also was heard is that because of the rules of how much length the movie had to be, if it was like a full length, if they couldn't have it long enough for a full length movie, they had to chop up the editing. So it's a little, there's some scenes in there that would have made it more understandable. And there was also parts that were, you know, that you might look at it and it's sort of out of sweet sequence. But I found it entertaining. I don't know how they would have gone on as a series with it, but I think as a two, as a kind of streaming service movie, within the Star Trek universe, it did what I think it needed to do, and
Did it fill in any blanks with the rest of the new universe that has been created since Discovery?
it was very action packed. I think it was supposed to be set in the time frame of around Star Trek 6, but that really didn't, time wise, would have made Rachel Garrett a little too old, because we see a very young Rachel Garrett, in it. So, she gets some early experience, then she would go on. I mean, because she was the token Starfleet person. You had to have at least one legitimate, uh, Starfleet person in this band of rogues that was put together. Um, it was still a very powerful story, and it even connected kind of a love story between Michelle Yeoh and a prior flame. So it was, even though it, I don't know, it was, you should see it. I would advise people to watch it. You may not like it, or you may, it might be an oddity, but it was definitely worth a glimpse at,
Okay. Anybody else?
lots of explosions, lots of action, and don't get too attached to the people, because you don't know who's going to live. But
Anybody else have any comments about Section 31?
I saw some of it, very dark
Okay.
and a little bit confusing as to who was interacting with whom. But I also have some Section 31 books, and they're kind of different, really different from the film, because they had Bashir in the books, as one of the operatives, from Deep Space Nine.
yeah,
Mhm.
Yeah. So kind of
this was prior
disconnected,
to that.
disconnected between the books and the film.
Yeah, this was much set in an earlier time frame.
Anybody else with Section 31?
I saw
Yeah,
it.
chance to see it.
Michelle Yeoh being Michelle Yeoh, she can chew the scenery as the Emperor as good as anybody else. The movie itself was absolutely horrible.
Yeah, why was it absolutely horrible?
It was basically Trek in name only. There were no, I mean, you had a Vulcan, you had a Deltan, you had Rachel Garrett, but the rest of it was like, okay, what am I watching here? This is not Trek. It's a shoot 'em up, bang bang, lens flare, explosion
Yeah,
movie, but there was no meat to it. I'm going to kind of paraphrase. If you've ever been to Disney, the end of
I saw that.
the Muppet Ride, we've got a glorious 3-hour finale. You've got a minute and a half. This is like we have a glorious 10-episode season. Okay, you've got an hour and a half. So they just crammed a lot of stuff that was disjointed and not very good into an hour and a half and called it a movie.
That was the criticism I heard most often. It was that they tried to fit too much into it, and Bob
Yeah,
and you both reinforced that now. So
yeah, they wanted it to be at least 2 hours, but apparently there's some kind of bizarre rule about feature length films, or something that Paramount had to adhere to, and that meant severely editing it down and condensing it to the point where some scenes were out of sequence and that you didn't get some of the character background that we were supposed to get. And we didn't get a close enough glimpse at some of these characters, so we didn't get a feeling of attachment to them. Um, Outside of Rachel Garrett, and of course Michelle Yeoh is Michelle Yeoh, so she was the central point, as well she should. But yeah, there wasn't enough to latch onto. It was an oddity. I didn't expect it to be a typical Star Trek Discovery. So, I did expect it to be sort of Star Trek meets Suicide Squad and Mission Impossible.
Ow.
And that's pretty much what it was. It wasn't your good old guys, Starfleet people. It was, outside of Rachel Garrett, it was a bunch of felons or rogues.
It had the vibe to me like they had taken a season's worth of scripts, thrown them all on the floor, and just went around picking up random pieces of paper, going, "Okay, we're going to film this."
It was nice to see a Delton again, and we got our first glimpse of a Sharonian in the bar. I love the bar fight. That was kind of interesting. All I can think of is, oh man, she's going to have to repair this whole bar, but
Yeah, it was. I'll just sum it up under it was different, but it was too different.
yeah.
Why couldn't they have done it as a two-parter?
It should have been a mini series, really. They should have
Right.
done it as like I don't know, 4 episodes or something like that. Would have, I don't know why they didn't go in that direction. I know it was being kicked around for a while. It was supposed to be a series. I think Michelle Yeoh was reportedly very supportive of the project, wanted to do it as a series, and then she got all these offers coming in, and an Oscar and all that. So she didn't walk away from it. She stayed with it, and they just did what I guess they felt they needed to do. But it was very trimmed down, and we lost there. I think eventually we'll probably see an extended version on a DVD, or download, and we'll get the missing footage that would have made it make more sense, or maybe there'll be a whole different
Director's cut or something.
director's cut to it. Yeah.
Now,
And Paramount will make money off that, so.
yeah, they definitely will. Anybody else want anything to say about Section 31?
Nope.
I haven't seen it, so unfortunately I
I haven't
can't
seen
give an
it either.
opinion of it.
So I'm trying to fill in all my blanks with the whole Kirshner-verse. So then we'll go to Prodigy. Prodigy, I did not like the first couple of episodes, but I guess I remembered Star Trek: The Next Generation. It's like, all right, let's give them a chance to see if they find their voice. And I found that when the plot and subplots associated with Janeway and Chakotay started coming into it, it fit into something, and I got to like the characters by then. And then the first season ended, and it wasn't being there was no season 2 right away. So I waited and waited and waited, and then I finally gave up waiting or looking for it. So I moved on, and I've since heard that there were a second season, I believe a third season.
It went to Netflix,
Oh,
Oh,
Netflix,
okay.
yeah.
which made no sense. It was a dumb move.
Has anybody seen after the first season Prodigy?
I haven't because I don't have Netflix right now.
I saw a few episodes the second season, but I hadn't watched the entire series before that. So
Okay.
I only saw like the pilot episode, and I thought it was a little too Pixar looking for me. And I heard it was good. A lot of people I talked to, in my chapter and others said it was good, but then Paramount abandoned it. And then I thought, oh, I'll take it before I'll watch it. I'll binge watch it before it gets pulled off of Paramount. But apparently I was too slow. Paramount was very fast on the trigger to remove it, and so I didn't get
it
to
was
watch the whole thing.
it was tied up in legalities. Netflix being the one to show it. And then they had, I guess, Nickelodeon was involved somewhere along the line. And there was just too many people saying, yeah, we want to show this. And Paramount's like, well, we want to show it on Paramount. Well, Nickelodeon's got the rights to it. No, Netflix has got the rights to it. And it just became too much trouble for them, I think.
What?
Does anybody know if they found Chakotay?
They did, as
They did? Okay, great. Was he okay?
far as I know. Like I
It
said, I
wasn't
only saw a couple
cyborg
episodes.
Chakotay or vampire Chakotay or
Oh, geez.
hologram Chakotay.
Is that why he and Seven broke up? I guess because of whatever happened.
I don't know that they actually even mentioned that, to be honest.
No, because we never found out in Picard either that they were just. Of course, that it was just kind of thrown into the finale of Voyager. Like all of a sudden, they were an item.
I like Picard, but I didn't love the Picard. There were some episodes that were better than others. There were some seasons that were better than others. But I stopped watching that after I think the third season.
Well, season 3 was the finale. There
Yeah.
was no further season. But
There were no further-
season 3 was of Picard was basically next gen reunion. The what we wanted to actually see. Because the first 2 seasons were just spotlighting his life, post next gen and what had happened. And, but season 3 is what brought it really all back together, and the entire Enterprise D crew, including the Enterprise D. I liked the season 3. I thought season 2 ran out of story, and I thought season 1 could have been better. But,
I liked what Jordy did with, because basically what they did was, the spoiler, you haven't seen season 3 if it's all right. But basically, if you remember what happened at Price D in Generations, the Sasha section ended up on the one planet where they got it off. And the next 20 years, Jordy kind of plays with Tim Taylor and takes their ship like it and gets it all redone back together. Like the Enterprise D is back into its own self. And the thing we learned as well was that they had that whole museum with all the different starships. Even the bird of prey that Kirk and the crew used to Star Trek 4 is in that museum. But they had redid they rebuilt the bridge. They had the Gene Roddenberry's wife still voicing the computer system, which Riker commenting, "I just that voice." Then the third season ends with them playing poker.
I think the last one I saw was the one with Q, with John Delancey.
That second season.
Yeah. That was a good departure point for as far as when he says goodbye to Picard, because they literally hug, and that was a moment. But then that's not the last we see of Q, because he shows up with the Enterprise G about to leave, and that's the series I wish we were watching right now. I'm intrigued with Starfleet Academy, but I would really have preferred to see Star Trek Legacy, with Seven of Nine as captain, and Picard and Beverly's other kid, and who's on the bridge, and he's a bit cocky, and and Q shows up because he's going to cause trouble, or at least uh, intrigue for the Enterprise G crew.
Yeah,
But
I
maybe we'll
missed.
see it. Maybe we won't. I don't know. That's the one series where they clearly tried to show, like, oh, we're going to do this next, and then they didn't do it.
Why didn't they do it? Is there a reason?
I don't know. I know they had plans for Starfleet Academy, but I mean, this was clearly like the nod, the torch being passed. They're literally, the last scene was them. That, like the next generation, and there they are on the Enterprise bridge, and Seven of Nine's about to do her her equivalent of engaged or hit it or whatever, and we don't know what it is because they kind of stop right where she goes. You know, I would have loved
I
it.
think the biggest thing why they didn't. I think the biggest thing why they didn't do that is because the producer, not Metalis, Kurtzman, had his pet project of Starfleet Academy that he wanted to do. The fans wanted legacy, the actors wanted legacy, everybody wanted legacy, and he's like, "Nope, we're doing Academy because I said so."
Ugh.
Well, at least make that a movie. Like I think at this point, the Kelvin verse is dead. You know, at least put it in on the big screen. If you're really gonna have a big screen Star Trek, then at least give it to us that way.
This almost feels like the issue that the MCU Phase 4 had, where there are series that should have been a movie and movies that should have been a series.
Yeah, exactly.
Blow it up. Even if they wanted to blow it up big, they could do it like they did 31 and just make it like a movie on Paramount Plus. But instead of doing just a one-off, they could do it like every 4 months or every 6 months or whatever, and space it out as a mini series that way. Versus, okay, we don't have to do a complete series all at once. We can space it out. Do whatever with it that way. Make better stories. Put more budget into it. Make it look like an actual theatrical production rather than, okay, yeah, we're just going to do it as a lot of CGI on the TV screen.
Yeah, that would definitely work. And remember when Legacy, when Picard finally aired, and Legacy was, part, the hinted at next series, Paramount was in the throes of that whole negotiation and purchase, and that went on to Skydance. So, we were kind of like, they didn't know what they were doing, because it all depended on who was going to buy them, what they were going to do. I mean, they're still, I don't think the transition is still done. Yeah.
Well, not only that, they still have that on again, off again of the fourth Kelvin Star Trek movie would ever happen.
Yes.
Well, I think that's pretty much dead at this point. That's clearly not going to happen.
They've officially said the Kelvin timeline is dead. They're not coming back for a fourth movie.
Right. And
everybody costs too much money. The script is dead. The whole that angle of it is completely done now. There has been a pitch apparently that Scott Bakula has thrown out called Star Trek United, where he wants to come back as President Archer.
President, yes, I heard that.
But again, I know they've made a pitch for it, but I haven't heard anything since.
Anybody have anything to throw into those shows that we just discussed? Legacy, United, Picard.
I'm overwhelmed. There's so much Star Trek. I just want to go on. I want to go under. So give it up.
Well,
we have one more we have one more season of Strange New Worlds, or two. What are we up to now? The fourth season, or
I'm not sure. I'm watching the first season.
So we've got 16 episodes of that yet.
So we have Strange New Worlds. We have Starfleet Academy was already, built in to have 2 seasons.
Right.
So, this podcaster guy who's so anti Starfleet Academy and then saying it's dead, it's going to go away, like he's full of crap. And, so we've got that, but we don't have Lower Decks. Lower Decks, ended last season. So we're not, yes, we've got games and things, but as far as
I was showing this to Hurt, so yeah, I've been getting to a couple of the issues of the comic book. This one was good. So this was the issue where the manatees of the crew take over the ship, and they explained to them that basically that when Kirk and the crew had gotten the 2 whales from Star Trek 4, they only had one calf that was male. So because they know that once that male passes away, of course, the whales will go extinct. And in case that probe to return, they decided to go back in time the same fashion like Star Trek 4.
Yeah,
But
that's
I,
a whole other series of episodes. All the comic books, the novels, the story, yeah, the individual stories, and all the fan literature produced over the years.
well, that's everything I was showing to Herc was also I'd gotten this like back in 2019. This is Star Trek Year 5. This was basically a comic series of the fifth season of the original series, and this was actually a sequel to a piece of the action where actually Spock actually runs for president on that planet because they were more modern civilization. And then, of course, because of course I'm a Transformers fan as well,
Oh God.
and they have the Star Trek cast on like the Filmation animated series.
They had eight
Where,
comics with Doctor Who.
yep,
Yeah.
The event they
the
had
Next
the
Generation.
X-Men too, and they had some other Marvel
Yeah,
characters.
Green Lantern met up with the crew and the X-Men, and I don't know. I think there was some kind of bizarre Planet of the Apes
Yes,
Yeah,
crossover.
there was a.
there was.
Yeah. I don't know. I kind of like, my, well, though I'd love to see Doctor Who and Star Trek crossover. Other than that, I don't know if I want to mix my universes. I kind of like them the way they are.
The interesting thing I liked about the Star Trek Doctor Who one was that when the Doctor had a flashback from back when he was the third Doctor, when he met up with Kirk and the crew, it showed oh, I forget what those beings are called from Doctor Who. You know, there's logic in what they say. Um, but it showed them back when they were earlier in the series, kind of fitting in with the timeline as the timelines are starting to merge. I thought that was clever.
Hmm.
I used to have when I used to run role-playing games set in science fiction universes. And it ended here in Tenafly with the Time Wars, which lasted for a couple of years. And it was kind of like the Crisis of Infinite Earths. I condensed like 20 years worth of playing, got rid of all plots, and came up with a new and improved timeline. But I was mixing all the shows together too. And it was a lot of fun. My last two campaigns were Die Gungan Die and Wookiee Holocaust, where I introduced the Star Wars characters. So we had like Stargate and Star Wars and Babylon 5 and Star Trek and you name it, it was in there somewhere. Barbarella.
Oh
The Star
jeez.
Trek the Star Trek roleplay room that my Bucket fiction character was in our expanded universe. If you remember the cartoon from the '90s, Exo Squad,
Yes.
the the eugenic like race, they had their own place in the galaxy as well, and all that. So they were part of our Star Trek universe.
Oh, very cool. They did crossovers in book series too. Like remember the Zinthi? They started out as an anthology series and they wound up on Star Trek the animated series, and then they affected the development of the Cat People on the movies. Though they blended a lot.
And you can also play them in Star Trek Online.
Yes. I guess that just leaves Discovery, unless I forgot one of the Kirsten ones. I watched up until the end of the fourth season. I didn't catch any of the fifth season. So how did that wrap up?
Fifth season was interesting. You could actually really use the fifth season as a jump off point if you had not followed the first four seasons, because it is its own storyline. I mean, it's sort of a quest kind of storyline, and you would get to know the characters pretty fast, the main characters, and a lot of the story focuses on two new characters who come into the storyline, who are kind of thieves actually, but intriguing nonetheless, and they are a catalyst for a good portion of the story. It almost has a Star Wars feel to it, in the sense of you know the battles and getting on board the ship, and you know uh, it has the Breen. I thought it was pretty good. And then the big finale kind of, the story sort of concludes, but you get extra story to kind of set up, um, you know, down the line. It wraps the characters storylines up because it goes through time, a time passage, with Burnham and the family and her son and the going off to the academy, and that was the handoff to Starfleet Academy, really. So, but Discovery didn't exactly grab me, but I decided I would definitely follow the fifth season to the very end, and I was glad I did. My wife and I found it interesting.
Anybody else want to say something about Discovery? Then we've run out of time. I just looked at the clock and it's like, oh, we gotta.
I just want to say I think differently about Discovery because I've been in science fiction since I was 12. And to me, Discovery was finally Star Trek gets science fiction. So I love Discovery because I saw science fiction in it rather than Wagon Train to the Stars. I said, this is what I'm talking about, finally.
Anybody else? So now I have to see Discovery the last season. I'll put that higher on my list of Star Trek to catch up with. Strange New Worlds, unfortunately, we don't have time to talk about today, so we'll add it to another episode. And I've been working on the on Facebook role-playing group, so I'll be launching that sometime this month, hopefully, and I'll invite you all to the group. And then I have a resource group that I started, and some of you guys are already there. So that's coming up soon. And we'll start from the beginning of today when Thomas was the first to arrive. Thomas, how can people find you, interact with you, and get involved with your science fiction universes?
You can look up Simbakar Fiction on Facebook, or you can get in touch with me at tomwaterwitch@live.com.
Thank you very much, and thank you for being here. I've missed talking to you. It's been quite a while.
Me too.
And the Chandlers, Brian and Tina.
You're up.
Oh, me up. Okay. All right. You can always contact me on Facebook under my name, Tina Chandler, or my email is uss71832@yahoo.com.
And I'm the same. You can find me on Facebook under my name or under my store name, Comics, Cards, and Stuff.
Awesome. Thank you very much to both of you. I was thinking the other day of how long our history goes back from Book Mooch and the trading sites of long ago. Are they still around?
The which?
The Book Mooch and all those book trading sites. That's how we first connected.
Oh, geez. That's not. Yeah.
That was very
Book
long
traders
ago.
and things like that. The book traders still around. We got our part of express. We call him our other hookup. His name is Chris, the book guy. He's over at our local flea market, and every time we go in there, we spend
A lot.
a lot.
Thank you very much. And now we go to Silver Fox.
Hi. Reach me through Facebook, through Messenger. I'll answer anything except people who want to just date me because they think I'm fabulous. It's like, you know the kind, huh? Facebook, Pamela Joy Fernsler.
Well,
Yeah.
you're a fabulous friend, so I'll give you that.
All right.
All
right.
You're very creative and you're very knowledgeable. So thank you for being you.
All right.
And last but not least, Bob Vosseller.
Oh, you can find me on Facebook too under Bob Vosseller. And of course, I can also be reached through my Starfleet chapter, USS Challenger, at usschallenger.org. We have a Facebook page, USS Challenger. And of course, you could reach me at region7.com and also at sfi.org, the Starfleet website. So.
And Bob, I know from very many years since the creation conventions, and I'm very happy that we're still communicating with each other. You're always a stand-up guy, a really great friend. So I'm glad you're still here, Bob.
I'm glad you're here too, and we've had a lot of fun. And we just did, the other day with Spaced Out. So seems.
So thanks to all of you. Take care. Success in all your ventures and adventures. And I'm looking forward to our next conversation. Take care, and may the new year continue to treat you right.
Thank you.
Yeah.
Thanks.
Take care.
You too.